What is up, everybody? I'm Dr. Ray Gorman, physical therapist, owner of Engage Movement. Today, we're going to chat about something that I think a lot of people kind of need to look in the mirror and really figure out. But how do you build a business on your own terms? There can be a lot of noise out there on the internet of what type of business, this consultant thinks you should build, or what type of business this consulting company thinks you should build. And it's really important that you build the business that you want to build. Um, I think that putting yourself in the wrong category of business can actually just feel as limiting as being an employee, right? Being in the position that maybe you're in right now. So when I think of businesses, I think of them in kind of two categories. I think of them in lifestyle, or I think of them in growth. And I think a lot of people, they see a lot of these businesses being constructed as growth businesses where they're designed to have multi-clinics, multi-practitioners, higher volume, and they're designed with the intent of that person, exiting or selling the business. But I don't actually think a lot of physical therapists want to build businesses like that. I know that there are those of you out there that do want to build that. If that's you, we're not really the company to help you. We kind of help people that live in like that lifestyle realm where they want a business that gives them freedom, flexibility. It has a high earning potential. They like doing some of the treatment work. They like doing some of the client management work. And ultimately, like, it's not going to have a bunch of the headaches that a growth business is going to have with multi sites, with multi providers, with a massive team. So just keep in mind that there are consulting companies out there for every type of business that you want to build, but it's really important that you build the one that's important to you. So let's talk about like the type of business that we help people build. Number one, I want a business model with high upside. So I want something that allows me to capture more value per client interaction and is generally reliant on less client volume, right? I don't want to be in a business where because I'm making, $90 a session, I need to see multiple people per hour to make that business profitable. I just don't want to have that type of business. So what we do with the performance provider growth model is we're able to combine in-person offers with a virtual offering, and that allows us to almost double the expected lifetime value. Because of that, we can become much less reliant on client volume. We literally need half the amount of volume that a traditional cash clinic would need to generate the same amount of revenue because our model is more efficient. So it has much more upside. I like to limit overhead. I don't want to have to worry about my rent payment being $4,000, $5,000 a month, which means I just need to see 20 visits a week in order to cover that. Like, I don't want that overhead looming. I think that overhead creates stress in the business. Now, does this ultimately limit some of the upside, some of the growth potential of the business that I can operate? Absolutely, right? Absolutely. But that is a sacrifice that I'm willing to make. And I think a lot of people end up, getting into facilities that their eyes are bigger than their stomach. And now the reality hits of the bottom line just becomes raised. And we've really have eaten into those profits, right? So we want to work with people who are looking to keep expenses relatively low so that their take home is relatively high. We like to run high margin businesses. We also like to keep a relatively small team. I think a lot of people will tell you, hiring people solves your problems. The reality is hiring people just creates a different set of problems for you to manage. So don't think it's all sunshine and rainbows on the other side when you hire a therapist, when you hire an admin. Yes, those things can alleviate some stress for you, but they can also be stressors, right? We've got to make sure that we're setting the business up and putting it in a position to succeed. So we are very thoughtful with helping our clients work through who they're going to hire, how they're going to hire, and what that's going to look like, and making sure that they understand the potential downside as well as the potential upside. In many cases for our clients, We're helping them hire, an admin to start, somebody to get some of the task work off their plate. Sometimes we're helping them expand to a second therapist or third therapist. But generally, we want to keep a small team so that we can keep those margins high and we can keep revenue and profit within the business. We really like to work with people who want to have recurring revenue and really sticky offers. So one of the things that really frustrated me in the cash realm or just the traditional physical therapy realm was that, the journey for the client was over when they were out of pain or when they reached like these lower end functional goals. And I knew that I wanted to do more with my clients. So that's what ultimately, catapulted me into the cash realm. Now, when I went into the cash realm, what I found was like it was the same problem, just at a smaller magnitude, right? Like I still needed to work with these clients. I didn't necessarily need to see them in person. And that's where I really started using what is now known as the Performance Provider Growth Model, the PPGM. That allowed me to get recurring revenue in my business, and it allowed me to provide a service mechanism to clients that was not reliant on trading time. So the recurring revenue just raised the baseline for me that each month wasn't going to start at zero. It also created a really sticky offer that was like, hey, the goal here isn't when you're out of pain. The goal is when you're back to this performance thing, that it makes more sense for me to service you on a virtual asynchronous offer rather than having you come in for sessions. So the PPGM essentially allows us to go beyond those in-person sessions and ultimately allows us to extend the life cycle of the client. You've got to be okay blocking the noise. You've got to be okay blocking the noise. You've got to understand that there are so many ideas out there of what you can do with your business. There are so many ideas of what you can do with your business. But ultimately, if you cave into the idea factory, you're going to constantly be in the situation where you feel like you're spinning your wheels. The hardest thing to do in business is stay consistent on what you're working on. Right? Stay consistent on the projects that you're working on and don't get that shiny object syndrome. You want to make sure that ultimately, and this comes back to the first point, that you're structuring the business in a way that works for you, your family, and the people around you. If that means you don't want to work nights and weekends, structure your business so that you don't have to work nights and weekends. If that means that you sacrifice some revenue potential, be okay sacrificing some revenue potential if it keeps you in a place where you're stress-free, right? I used to work in a company where we were trying to grow and dominate an industry. It was super stressful. There was a lot of high stakes. Now I work in something where my vision of this is a much smaller scale than that. And I am completely okay with that. And the byproduct for me is that I have less stress in my life about my professional life than I ever have before. So you really have to block out the noise. So look, guys, if this is a model, if this is something that you are thinking about doing, that you are looking to build, head over to engagemovement.com, check out what we do, head over to Instagram at Ray Gorman DPT, or even better, just head down into the comments below and book a call. Let's chat about what we can do for you, how we can help you build that business. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. We look forward to chatting with you soon.